Boasting more than 50 rides, shows and attractions, and picking up quite a bit of momentum in recent years, Legoland Florida aims to provide Florida vacationers with an alternative choice. But with limited time and money and plenty of other big hitters to choose from, is it worth a trip? Hi, I'm the Frugal Brit, and for this video I'm going to provide a breakdown of the good and the not so good things about Legoland Florida to help you decide whether this theme park is worth a visit on your vacation. And at the end I've got some great tips to help you get the best out of any visit here. Don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in future Orlando vacation content. So Legoland Florida is situated on the property of what used to be the Cypress Gardens theme park before it was taken over by Merlin. The rides at this park, a few of which have been repurposed with Lego theming, are spread across 13 different lands inspired by different Lego property lines and destinations. So the demographic they're aiming for is fairly obvious. The rides are geared towards what young children will be interested in, as opposed to teenagers. A lot of people don't realise that Legoland Florida is not located within Orlando or near Disney World. Instead, it's approximately a 50-minute drive from these locations over in Winter Haven. If you don't have a rental car, you may want to check out the shuttle for this park, which runs from International Drive. The cost for one-day admission is $84.99, but if you also want to try their water park, which by the way unfortunately won't be covered in this video, then in total that will cost you $109.99. And these prices are for when you purchase days in advance, which is significantly cheaper. You can also pick up some good discounts online from other websites on occasion, such as from Costco, so definitely worth shopping around for. Be sure to also factor in the $23 parking fee. So for my tour of Legoland Florida, I'm going to take you through all the different lands and attractions in sort of a reverse order of popularity. So starting with the least popular and then gradually moving on to the more popular and more thrilling attractions. And I'll be sure to highlight any that I think are unmissable. So with that said, I will begin the tour at Funtown. This area close to the entrance features the Grand Carousel, which occupies the centre of this section of the park. The best attraction in this land is definitely the huge 4D theatre, which has 3 different shows, including a very amusing Lego movie show. In addition to this attraction, there's also some interactive Lego shops over here as well. Over to the left is HEARTLAKE City, which is sort of the girlier section of Legoland Florida. The main attraction over here is Mia's Riding Adventure. This is a spinning disc ride where you're held in your seat facing outwards in a circle and then spun around whilst the disc itself slides backwards and forwards on a curved track. Don't be put off by the kiddish look of this ride. This is very fast and provides plenty of thrills, or so I'm told. Just watching this ride gives me more than enough nausea, if I'm being completely honest. Over to the east of this park is DUPLO Valley, aimed at Legoland Florida's youngest guests. This area is based on the 1985 building set Lego DUPLO Farm. This could be the most fun area for any toddlers in your group, which contains a few different minor attractions including DUPLO Tot Spot and DUPLO Splash and Play. The more popular attractions over here include the DUPLO Tractor, the DUPLO Train, and the Florida Prepaid Schoolhouse, which is an indoor interactive playground which comes in handy when it's raining heavy outside. Moving to the far north side, you'll find the Imagination Zone Land. This is an indoor attraction filled with hands-on Lego activities where you get to build a working product out of Lego before testing them out. Right next to the Imagination Zone, you'll find Pirates Cove Land, which offers a live pirate-themed water ski show. You can also find Cypress Gardens here as well, which Merlin decided to keep and maintain when they took over the park many years ago. Moving to the centre of the park, you have Miniland USA. Here you'll find super impressive miniature versions of cities and landmarks from across the United States, as well as some Star Wars displays. Lego fans, young and old, will want to spend time here for sure. On the east side of Legoland Florida is Land of Adventure. This is another area that's aimed at this park's youngest guests. The minor attractions here include Safari Trek, Pharaoh's Revenge, and Beetle Bounce. The main attractions at Land of Adventure include Coastersaurus, which is a wooden roller coaster previously known as Triple Hurricane during the Cypress Gardens days, but now has a dinosaur theme. The other main attraction here is the Lost Kingdom Adventure, which is an interactive shooter dark ride which requires you to shoot mummies and skeletons. A short walk south from Land of Adventure is Lego Kingdoms. The main attractions here include Royal Joust, the Forestman's Hideout, and Merlin's Challenge. The main attraction over here is the Dragon, which is a combination of a dark ride and a family roller coaster. This is one of the signature Legoland rides at this park and many of the other Legoland parks around the world. But surprisingly, I hear this roller coaster was repurposed from the old Cypress Gardens days. Moving back over to the west side of the park is Lego Technic. The minor attractions here include Technic Tot Spot, which is a toddler's play area, the Technicycle where you and your child pedal to go higher. Then you've got Aqua Zone Wave Races, where you steer to dodge water cannons and splash your friends. And lastly, the main attraction in this land is the Great Lego Race. This attraction combines roller coaster thrills with virtual reality technology, where as the name implies, you're part of a race against other Lego characters. The cool thing about this ride is that the visuals are 360 degrees so you can view things all around you. Keep in mind though that you must be 6 years old and 48 inches tall to ride this one. But if your child is over 42 inches, you and your child can still ride but without the VR headset. Located in the far northeast corner you have Lego City. This area specialises in the school type attractions. So this includes the Ford Driving School where kids take control and earn their own Legoland driver's licence, and then there's Boating School which allows kids to captain their own mini vessels. You have the Rescue Academy where you take control of a fire truck or a police vehicle and compete with other guests to put out the fire. And lastly you have Flying School, where passengers ride in carriages suspended from the overhead track with nothing beneath their feet. This is another attraction repurposed from the Cypress Gardens days. Just a short walk over to the right and you'll arrive at Lego Ninjago World, which is the martial arts themed land designed as an interactive training ground for kids to own their ninja skills. Whilst there's plenty of really cool displays in this land, the key attraction here, and one of the best in the whole park, is the Lego Ninjago the Ride. This is a state-of-the-art dark ride where guests compete to score points using ninja hand moves to fire animated fireballs, lightning and more. This attraction also has 3D computer animation and 4D special effects such as heat, fog and strobe lighting. Moving right to the bottom of the park is the final land on my list, which is Legoland Movie World, which is also the newest area following a recent expansion. This place of course has Lego movie theming and its sense of humour here is consistent with the movies. I'll start the list of attractions with Unkitty's Disco Drop. After climbing aboard this brightly coloured thrill ride, you'll soar to the top before dropping, spinning and bouncing back and forth. Don't be put off by the colours, this is a lot of fun and more thrilling than you'd expect. The next attraction on my list is Battle of Bricksburg, where DUPLO aliens have invaded Bricksburg and it's up to you to stop them on this frantic water ride. As the boat progresses, you'll fight the invaders by spraying water at targets, but be careful as other park goers will also be able to squirt you with water cannons that are mounted around the attraction's perimeter. So there is a very high chance of getting absolutely soaking wet on this one. And so the last ride on my list in Lego Movie World is Lego Movie Masters of Flight. This marquee attraction takes you on a suspended journey aboard Emmett's triple-decker couch. As you soar along, you'll see what it's like to fly through a world made entirely of Lego bricks thanks to the ride's full-dome virtual screen. For those of you that have tried soaring over an Epcot, you'll be familiar with this type of attraction. A cool thing about this ride is that you'll get a different view depending on which of the 3 levels you're on. So definitely a ride that's worth trying more than once if you get a chance. Lego is of course one of the most powerful brands worldwide, and so the fact that this theme park is completely dedicated to what is probably the most popular kids' toy deserves to be emphasised. As an adult, it may be difficult for us to appreciate just how awesome it must be having a theme park dedicated to your favourite toy. My favourite thing about this park is that it's not as hectic and stressful as some of the other bigger and more famous theme parks in Florida, the obvious examples being those in Disney World and Universal, also not as expensive. So the queues for the popular rides are much more manageable even at the weekends. This theme park doesn't require crazy preparation or reservations months in advance or anything like that. Some of the main rides, such as the Ninjago ride, has very good capacity, and of course there won't be any queues for the likes of Miniland and the plentiful playgrounds and play areas spread throughout the park. When talking about the positives, I have to talk about the inclusion of cypress gardens. This is a really nice and unexpected inclusion which makes for a really pleasant break from the rides. The food at Legoland Florida is on par for a theme park. What does that mean? Well, it means kinda alright, but not worse than most non-Disney theme parks. If you're into Italian food, they do pretty good pizza and pasta buffet in Funtown. I should also mention here that the very popular Legoland apple fries, which originate from Legoland. Possibly my second favourite thing about this park is that they'll let you take in a cooler to take in your snacks and lunch, which comes in really handy to save on costs. So this theme park has the potential to be disappointing if you go in with the wrong expectations. So LEGO markets this park for children between 2 and 12 years old. I would say that any kids that love LEGO will love this park regardless of age, but in my opinion the optimal age is between 4 and 9 years old. Whilst there is plenty to do under 4 years old, you may become irritated by some of the height requirements on some rides for toddlers. And also kids over 9 may be seeking the sort of thrill rides offered by the other parks in Florida. I should say though that since the LEGO Movie World expansion, this park has become a bit more attractive to tweens. But overall, the reality is that this park cannot stand toe-to-toe with Disney World and Universal in terms of rides or the magical atmosphere. One area where this park has received some mildly negative feedback is the condition of some of the LEGO displays around the park. I think it's fair to say that the Florida weather has not been particularly kind on these over the years. Some guests have commented online that this park can be quicker than its competitors to close with the threat of thunder and lightning. However, staff will provide free passes if this happens, but obviously if you're travelling from overseas, this doesn't really make up for it. One complaint I've seen raised a few times is with some of the smaller rides generating disproportionately large queues due to low rider capacity and what some have perceived as inefficient queue management and a lack of urgency from staff. So in summary, Legoland Florida is not for everyone as highlighted above, but if your children love LEGO, this theme park, which is cheaper and less stressful than its competitors, is absolutely worth a trip if you're in the right age range. Alright, so I'll start the tips with what some may consider fairly obvious. So like with every theme park, it's best to arrive before the park opens and get as much done as you can before 12, as there are significantly less people in the park in the morning. Before heading out to Legoland Florida, be sure to pack caps and sunscreen for the whole family, as this park is lacking in shade. If you're feeling the Florida heat, then the Battle of Bricksburg ride is a good option to cool down, as you will get completely soaking on this. If there is a threat of rain at this park, you may want to consider visiting at another time. As mentioned earlier, they are quick to close rides if they hear thunder or see lightning. If your child is borderline tall enough to ride one of the attractions, then I would suggest heading over to guest services first thing to get them officially measured, to save yourself the hassle and dramas before each ride. I've got a couple of tips to help you save money at Legoland Florida. The first is bringing a cooler to bring some food into the park. Depending on your family size, this could save you quite a bit. My next money saving tip is that you can get free water at all the quick service locations, so you can save money on buying drinks. I personally like to pack something to flavour the water, as Florida tap water can taste a bit funky on occasion. So in terms of planning which rides to do first at rope drop, the strategy isn't as crucial as with some other theme parks, but my advice would be to head over to the Lego TECHNIC land and do the Great Lego Race ride first, as the queues can get quite big on this one. Also, this is over on the left-hand side of the park, and for whatever reason it's been proven that most people head over to the right-hand side when entering theme parks, so heading over to the Great Lego Race should take you away from the crowds. One really cool thing about this park is that staff will trade any LEGO minifigures that you brought from home, which is a really nice touch. So be sure to pack any with you that your kids would be willing to part with. Well, that's the end of my tour and review of Legoland Florida. Please hit the like button if you found it useful and check out the useful links in the description. And of course, if you're interested in future Florida vacation content, don't forget to subscribe.